Go ahead.
Let's just for the people who aren't familiar, can you dig into
Yeah.
the acronym a little bit more for the
Yeah.
D, the I, the S, and the C?
Right. So again, D. Individuals with the dominance styles and tendencies, you're going to find different attributes in them that they're more direct. They can come off as being more firm with individuals, forceful, results oriented, and more strong willed. Okay. Um, Now, some people who know me and be like, "Well, that seems like you." After 22 years of the military, that that comes off. You can see that, but that's not my natural tendency. Where
Right,
I
right,
what I was born with. My natural
right.
tendency more is in the influence area. Which in influence you see more individuals who show off, not show off, but they show more enthusiasm, and they're high spirited. You'll see that they're lively, more optimistic and outgoing. All right. Going over into the steadiness realm, if you see like more individuals whose personalities are more steadiness, then you're going to find that they're more accommodating, they're more even tempered. Some words associated with them will be humble, they're patient, and they're very tactful. Now, I can say this. I'm gonna look around. Now, we talk about my better half, right? So my better half is more in the steadiness realm. So
Hmm.
I'm super like fast going, high spirited, and we balance each other out because uh, my wife is more on the steadiness side. Like, well, hold on, let's slow down, let's talk about this, let's look at this because I'm ready to go.
That
And then,
sounds like her.
I'm telling you, and I tell you, it works. It works with that balance, and we'll get to that a little later on in the discussion. I want to finish with the C because somebody may be a conscientious style, and they be like, "Well, none of those sound like me." So what is this? So with the conscientious style, you're going to see individuals that are more analytical.
Hmm.
They're very precise with what they want to do. They're more private, reserved, and they will work in a systematic. They have the tendency to work in a more systematic way of things. Now, I want to say this before I go any further.
No worries.
Uh, I want to say this because one of the things that we can't do is we can't pigeonhole anyone. All right. We are created. We are born. We're three-dimensional, if you will, and in the spirit realm, you go a whole another dimension, right? The fourth dimension. So when you look at this, when you break things down, if you look at it in different situations, we're all of these. We all have some dominance behaviors, some influential,
Hmm.
conscientious, and steadiness.
Hmm.
We're all of that. So no one can be pigeonholed into one or two things. What DISC does is it measures your preferences and your tendencies. One thing that I look at is we take like a rubber band, model, if you will, and let's say for me, I'm more in the influence side of the things, and it, but that does not mean that I can't be analytical and precise more down in the conscientious space. So if
Okay.
we had a circle, right? If I was to blow up a big circle and you broke it down into four quadrants where you have the D, the I, the S, and the C. And I'm over here in this I influence realm. If you take a rubber band and if I pull down into my quadrant, then it doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot of effort. It doesn't put a lot of stretch on me. But if I go all the way to that other quadrant, which is going to be on the opposite corner, that conscientiousness, it's going to stretch me. That does not mean that I'm
Ah,
not good at it.
ah.
I could be great at it, but it just means it takes more energy and effort for me to get there.
That's a great analogy. That's a great analogy.
This is what this is where I had my aha moment, right? I had my aha moment, and it's like, whoa. And for me, four lenses, which I love four lenses, Myers Briggs, I'm a student, so I love to learn,
Hmm.
especially about myself and others. But this for me, this everything disc model was so simplistic without being too simple, if you will. You get what I'm saying there? I mean, because it was something that I can take from that learning environment, that training environment, and then come implement into my real world scenario, right? Because I had real issues that I was dealing with, and I didn't know how to deal with them. And I went back, and it was like, whoa! Not only if I'm working with somebody who's direct, right, whose tendencies are being dominant, then you know what I needed to do? I needed to give them the straight up, no kidding. Here's your yes. Here's your no. This is where it came from. Do you have any more questions? And leave it alone. But to me, it felt so impersonal. it felt like, oh my, like this is so rude. To them, it was the best thing since sliced bread. And now I turned from a leader who just led with my heart to a leader with results. But guess what? I didn't change. I didn't change who I was. I just gave them what they needed. So once you know what somebody else's what somebody else needs, and then you follow up with that, now we're getting to the solution that Diamond Leadership Solutions wants for everyone.
And so just checking for my own understanding, it seemed like level 1 is understanding self and how self operates. Man, and then level 2 is like, how does self interact with others, right? And as I learn how to interact with others, that frustration level should essentially lower for the most part, because what you just said, I'm giving them the information in the way they're best able to receive it, right? And that's what communication is. The challenge with communication, but that's what it boils down to, like message sent, but is message received, right?
Right. And I tell you what, Chris, what we're talking about here in a nutshell is we're talking about emotional intelligence, which is a whole nother important aspect of. So the more that the more you utilize these tools and you get to understand who you are and how you're wired, it allows you to respect others and where they are. And now we're going to those building our emotional intelligence of our personal competence and our social competence. That's the big pictures. And then the 4 elements in it, our self-awareness, our self-management, our social awareness, and then our relationship management, which that all equals your emotional intelligence.